Excellent. And we are live. Fantastic.
Just not yet, Chad. Just give me 1 second.
Have my radio voice on there, mate.
Go for it.
You've been practicing.
All right. And excellent. Welcome. And welcome to the Entrepreneurship World Cup for Australia, the national finals. We are now live and welcome everybody. Who we have in the room are organizers. We have we're admitting some more people in. We have organizers, we have judges, we have facilitators, and most importantly, we have the entrepreneurs. So this year's event has been very interesting. Obviously happening during COVID, social distancing, as we're doing a national event now over Zoom. But we had hundreds of applications in. And it was a very difficult decision to get us down to the 15, but we're very excited about the lineup. Would like to also acknowledge the traditional owners, traditional custodians of the land on which we stand, and pay respect to elders, both past, present, and emerging, and obviously on the land of which we all are across Australia. I'm currently in Ipswich, and so we do want to pay respect to the Yagara, Jagara, and Yuggera people, as well as the peoples from where you are, where you're going to be live streaming from. And as was mentioned before, if you could please mute your sound if you're not on. And when the pitches are going, we'll make that person's pitching the dominant view. But also if you just mute your video as well, that way whoever's watching can just focus on whoever's pitching at the moment. So as far as my role, like I said, my name is Chad Renando. I'm the Managing Director for the Global Entrepreneurship Network in Australia, as well as a few other roles that I have working with some universities doing research and really focusing on entrepreneur ecosystems. And part of that's also building up the capability capacity for leaders in the ecosystem, supporting entrepreneurs across Australia. And the people that we have around here to judge and to facilitate are part of that group, everyone focusing on supporting entrepreneurs to build, grow, and scale their business. And we've been going for a couple of years now, just kind of working with the entrepreneur community to build them up. And the World Cup that we have this year is the first time we've run this in Australia, but also integrated, aligned with other activities that we have, from innovation hubs and co-working spaces and accelerator programs and university programs, all supporting entrepreneurs. So we've got a really good representation this year, like I said, on the pitches. So I'll just hop off. I know we've got a pretty tight schedule. And I'll hand it over to Phil, who's been really doing a lot of the heavy lifting. Do want to give a big shout out, not just to Phil, but also to the judges and the coordinators and supporters who made this happen, even over just like a very short period of time under really unique circumstances, as well as for the entrepreneurs who, again, within a short time frame, within a matter of days, we put out the call out there and said, hey, look, you guys are in the top slot. And almost to a person, they all said, yep. Give it a go. Within a few days, we're ready to go here on a Wednesday afternoon. So thank you very much. Huge credit, not just to yourselves, but also to the entrepreneurial spirit that we have here in Australia. I couldn't be more pleased. So thank you. And with that in mind, I might hand over to Phil to introduce kind of the order of events and how the afternoon's going to flow.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much, Chad. And such an honor and a privilege to be here as well, alongside some amazing community members, as you mentioned, that have put this event together. I also wanted to introduce Veronica, who's going to be moderating with me this session today. So hi, Veronica, where are you dialing in from today?
Hi, Phil and everybody else. I'm actually here in Perth, WA. So I've still got 2 hours extra of the day ahead of you guys. So I'm feeling pretty privileged at the moment. Just want to say a quick congratulations to all of the entrepreneurs that are here today. Well done for getting here, and I'm really looking forward to co-hosting this event.
Yeah, great, fantastic. And I'm actually dialing in from Brisbane, Australia, and I know there's people from all over the country. So that's really great to see, and also great to see, in this time, in this time, and our global situation, that we're actually all in the same virtual room as one country, and then as one country soon to represent Australia on a global stage as well. Yeah, a few things on what you said, Chad. I think it's been great to see community members come together to bring this event to life. We were actually quite surprised and amazed by the caliber of companies that had applied for the Entrepreneurship World Cup, and it's always great to have the opportunity to go through a list of really good companies representing really good founders, and the communication so far over the last week has been really great. So thank you all for making it this far. Thank you all for being part of this process. And one of the things that we've been talking about a lot, and you've seen that in my emails, is we want to stay connected with you, and we want to know how we can genuinely support you and add value to your journeys, your businesses as you are progressing. And yes, the pitch competition and this opportunity is one step in the way, but there's so many things we can do being connected now, and a lot of us exist in really interesting networks that can help you and that can support you in a variety of ways. So as I said, please make sure you make that abundantly clear in your pitches as well. What you want to get out of this? What's your ask to all of us on this call, and then listening to the broadcast or even to the recording afterwards. A few things about the run of show here. So you all know the order of the order of the pitches, or the order you'll be pitching in. You'll get 3 minutes to pitch in front of the judges, and I will change my video into a timer, so you should be able to see the 3 minutes running as you are presenting. And Veronica will have the best job in the world, that is to shut you down or off or cut you off when you've reached those 3 minutes. Don't take it personally. It's just to be able to keep the event running on track. We'll follow that by 2 minutes of question and answers. Remember this, and this is a good friend of ours in the Queensland ecosystem or Australian ecosystem, who reminds me of this all the time, is that good pitches are rewarded by great questions from the panel. All right, so if you sparked interest of the judges, you will receive really good questions. The idea is to highlight or to, I guess, extract some of the things you may have not accentuated enough during your pitch, and to help you bring out, I guess, the best of you and the best of all the elements of your business and your team. On to introducing the judges. We're honored to be joined by 3 amazing people today. I think still actually waiting for one of the 3 to join the call. She just messaged me. She'd be on at 4:10, which is in 1 minute, so that's great. But then let's start actually quickly introducing. So Bronwyn, you've joined us. Could you perhaps give us 30 seconds about yourself, so we know who's judging here?
Hi, here. My name's Bronwyn. I'm in sunny Brisbane as well. I run a small software company called Soul Solutions, but I also am quite heavily involved in the community. I run DDD Brisbane, and I'm a CEO activator as well. So yeah, really excited to see the pitches today. Great,
and we'll move to Tony. Tony, perhaps a few 30 seconds about yourself.
Yeah, hi everyone. My name's Tony Wheeler, CEO and founder of ImagineX Ventures. Ordinarily, I'd be in Brisbane as well, but I'm actually dialing in today from the Aspen Tablelands. So in this COVID period, I've been taking the opportunity to trek around Queensland, because what I'd ordinarily be doing is actually in Southeast Asia. I spend a lot of time between Australia and Southeast Asia, basically working, building the innovation ecosystem and entrepreneurial ecosystem between our 2 countries. So really keen to see what actually comes out of today. There's a few familiar names on here, but there's a whole lot of new companies I've never heard of before. So really excited to see how this all pans out. So good luck to everyone.
All right, fantastic. And before I introduce our last judge, can I just ask Juliette? I know you're already on the call, to perhaps get ready to move into your pitch. So Juliette and Flubmap, to move into your pitch quite quickly after this. But just not yet, sorry. But you're ready, I can see you're ready. And then finally, we've got Ren as our 3rd judge, who's joined us now. Ren, hey, welcome. did you want to give us a quick 30 seconds about yourself?
Sure. Yes. So my virtual background is our lab's office here in Melbourne. I haven't seen it since April, despite it being 2 blocks that way. So I'm in exotic Melbourne right now. And I have a soft spot for all things sustainability and kind of human-centered technology. So wow me on those fronts, and you've got extra points for me.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ren. Over to Veronica.
Thanks, Phil. So as Phil said, I have the task of introducing our wonderful pitchers and keeping you all on track with time. So 3 minutes for the pitch, 2 minutes for the Q&A. I'd like to introduce first up Flood Map. Juliet, I believe you're ready to go. So let's see your pitch.
Thanks so much, Veronica. Let me just pull up my screen here and we should be ready to go. Can I just confirm that everyone can see my slides?
Yes, and now I'm just wondering if I can quickly ask you, Phil, are we able to see your timer? Because I can't.
I can't see the timer.
You won't be able to see it. That's all right. We'll
But I can
time
have
it
my
in.
own timer.
Yeah, and Phil will let us know when it's time to move on, Phil. Is that okay?
Yep, that's good.
Sure.
All right.
Fantastic. Flooding is becoming more frequent and more severe each year, impacting over 18 million lives and causing up to $100 billion in damages. It's predicted to get worse. This is putting lives at risk, impacting people, property, and critical infrastructure in countries across the globe. But the World Bank has research to show that over 35% of damage from flooding is preventable with the right warning systems. The problem with current warnings is they're too broad and people don't understand the individual actions they should take to improve safety and prevent damage. And this is because current models are not capable of running in real time at scale. I'm Juliet Murphy, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of FloodMap. I have over 12 years of experience in flood modeling and hydrology as a professional water engineer. And my co-founder and CTO, Ryan Prosser, is an engineer and full stack developer with a decade of experience in managing teams in rapidly growing organizations. We're supported by Mark Fletcher and Daniel Johnson on our board, with the combined experience across finance, law, business, and commercialization of new technologies. But more importantly, we've recruited a world-class team with diverse and multidisciplinary experience across flood engineering, coastal engineering, GIS, data science, software engineering, and analysis. And they're all passionate about solving this problem with us. FloodMap has developed groundbreaking technology, Dash. And I'm just going to play this video for you. Maybe no luck, sorry. Dash runs 13,000 times faster than alternative technologies, allowing us to distribute real-time flood map information, which allows people to improve safety and prevent damage with location-specific warnings. From this, our business model is to offer 3 different products to support users across the 3 phases of emergency management in preparing, responding, and recovering from a disaster. We charge an implementation fee and an ongoing annual forecasting fee. And we sell into markets including government, insurance, utilities, mining, and energy. In Australia alone, this is a $700 million opportunity and an $8 billion opportunity in the US, after which we plan to move into Southeast Asia and European markets. The unfortunate thing is this market opportunity is getting bigger as flooding becomes worse, with Deloitte predicting that flood damages are projected to double by 2030.
Thank you very much, Juliet.
Thank you.
That's it. Leave it on this slide as we go into the questions. Judges, anyone would like to put up their hand to go first?
Sure.
Okay. Ren can go.
Ren, go for it.
Yep. So my first question would be, with a lot of times the stakeholders you're selling to will have budget for reactionary and sort of triage measures, but you're trying to sell a prophylactic measure. What's the biggest objection you get in your sales approach, and how do you overcome that?
Yeah, thanks so much, Ren. It's a good question. The biggest objection, probably it does come down to timing. When we're qualifying our leads with the BANT methodology, the need and timing matching up to their budget availability is often a challenge. As you say, we have a short memory, so people tend to spend on flooding 7 years after a flood. The other challenge we get is that sometimes within an organization, there's a lot of different stakeholders. For example, in government and insurance, they have multiple different ways they see use cases for this data and integration. So sometimes there's lots of time taken to negotiate through those different stakeholders and agree on a path forward.
Thank you. Any other quick questions from the judge? Time's almost up.
Just for me, Tony here, very quickly. You talked about the major stakeholders and so on and customers. You talked about you got 1.3 in seed funding. Do you actually have paying customers right now? And what's your revenue model?
Yeah, that's right. Thanks, Tony. We do. So we have customers across 4 different market sectors, and we've seen a 200% growth in customers this financial year. So our revenue model is we charge a implementation fee to integrate the service into systems such as their ArcGIS spatial systems, and then we'll charge an ongoing fee an annual fee to cover the modeling and forecasting service for them.
Great, thank you. So thank you, Juliet. We need to move on to our next picture, and that will be Murray McDonald from Movie, Mobile UV Innovations. Are you ready to go, Murray?
Yeah, just for a moment, we'll get the slides up.
Yeah.
Hey, are you ready, Josty?
Yes, I'm ready. Just a sec, I'll present.
Just tell us when you can see the slide deck appearing.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. We'll
Okay.
start for 3 minutes now. Thanks.
Okay. Every second, a vulnerable patient is infected. Every 3 minutes, a vulnerable patient dies of a healthcare-acquired infection. That's 1 in 10 patients infected. So what if you're patient number 10? According to World Health Organization, 700,000 deaths occur every year from infections at a cost of $60 billion in lost bed days. These are preventable. Human cleaning error is the main cause of contaminated surfaces and healthcare-acquired infections. Meet Movie, the first of our 2 products. It's a clinically proven UV light technology that kills superbugs and disinfects highly touched surfaces and mobile medical equipment. That's why in February, 4 Wuhan hospitals purchased a large quantity of our technology to decontaminate surfaces and air. And that's why Australian dentists, clinics and aged care have purchased over 200,000 since the beginning of this year. Our second product is our game changer patent pending sensor. So this is a disinfecting tracking sensor. After clinical feedback, we developed a wireless sensor that digitally validates Movie to disinfect a room or equipment. It's a tiny sensor that attaches to mobile medical equipment, a wheelchair, a ventilator. Movie provides visibility and accountability and saves lives. Our primary competitors are chemicals and human wiping. Our UV competitors cost around $100,000 per unit. Some hospitals use hydrogen peroxide at disinfecting at $20 per room, and it takes 2 hours. Movie is a pay-per-use, a hardware-as-a-service model. Just a few dollars per disinfection and the sensor network. Movie's faster, cheaper, and very scalable globally, and no one has the sensor. Our primary market is the 30,000 OEC hospitals with high-risk wards in ICUs, theatre, oncology, dialysis, but there are also over 700,000 dentists. This is in excess of a $200 million market a year. We're now deploying the first 100 units into dental aged care and workplaces. Clinical trials are underway in Australian major hospitals and planned for Germany and Asia. We're building a sales dealer network to scale abroad into Europe. We've got a great depth of team, product, sales, marketing, operation, and experienced in Asia, European healthcare commercialization. Connect to us at Movie, join us as we save lives and shine a bright light on superbugs to reduce the 1 in 10 infection and help high-risk vulnerable patients globally. Thank you.
Thank you, Murray. Great timing there. Over to our judges now to see if they have any questions for Murray.
Hi, Murray. I just was curious to see what the biggest pain point and hold up is for you at the moment in terms of like expanding.
Yeah, that's really simple. Change. Just simple, out with an incumbent system and bringing in a new system. So that change is in many markets. So it's really acquiring customers and educating the market on the technology.
Any other questions from a judge? No. Okay. Thank you very much, Murray. We'll move on to our next. Thank you very much. We'll move on to our next pitch, which is coming from Matthew from Connexi. I hope I've said that right. If I haven't, you can correct us, Matthew.
No, you got that exactly right. Well done.
Oh, great. We'll give you a minute to organise your pitch deck.
1 second. Can you guys see my slides and everything now?
Yes, we can see your slides.
Okay, perfect.
So when you're ready, we'll get the 3 minutes started for you.
The current solution for utilizing data is expensive and inefficient. Anyone who runs a business knows just how painful turning data into decisions currently is. And that experience is only going to get worse with more data points and more platforms becoming available every day. Since business became hungry for data, it has experienced 2 distinct stages of evolution. Connexi is the third. First, business realized that raw data exists everywhere and paid millions in the pursuit of capturing it. Then, when that became overwhelming, they paid millions more to take that data and make it understandable. Today, it can take months for the useful information to be in the hands of the person who needs it. This is typically what our competitors offer. When communication tools are coupled with data capturing and visualization capabilities, your teams receive real-time information, giving them the wisdom to collaborate and act proactively. That's the Connexi evolution. We capture raw data, we humanize it so that it makes sense, and then we connect people to that data with a suite of communication tools that allow for real-time notifications, tasking, planning, troubleshooting, collaboration, and ultimately decision-making. With Connexi, the right information is with the right people at the right time for the right decision to be made. A nationwide multi-site customer of ours knew they were spending excessive amounts of money on energy each quarter. Once Connexi was implemented, their business managers were notified at 2 a.m. of a surge in energy consumption that didn't correlate to their business activities. And this meant they were able to identify the specific process that was causing the fault and rectify it immediately across all sites. By taking available raw data, humanizing it so it became useful information, and curating the distribution of it, the right people were informed at the right time to act. Connexi empowered our client with wisdom that they used to save themselves thousands in their first month of the subscription. We have been live in market since February. We have a SaaS software that utilizes channel partners to expand our customer base. We are successfully managing over 3,000 users through our partner network, and we are highly scalable, growing by 5 to 10 sites per week, and our serviceable market is truly global, with pilots already live in USA, Europe, and the Asia Pacific. Our growth is primarily through referrals, which means our customers love our solution. By 2021, we'll have increased our integration capabilities and expect to see our annual recurring revenue surpass $850,000. We have consistent, reliable customer base with reputable international brands on our partner board. And priced so that an SME or an ASX listed company can benefit from our platform, we charge $1,500 per site for a 5-year subscription. For one of our customers, that meant 2 million kilowatt hours was optimized, saving them in excess of $500,000 after their $150,000 investment with Connexi. This was enough to power 150 Australian homes for a year. Our team has a mix of innovation, global sales workflow optimization experience. One invented a life-saving device, one was named in the AFR Top 100 Future Leaders, and one is an internationally accomplished enterprise software business development professional. While we can add value to any business operation, due to the essential service focus of COVID-19 affected economies, being a pivotal part of the global clean energy revolution is our priority.
Unfortunately, that's your 3 minutes and we need to move on now. That's how ruthless we're being. So over to the judges for questions.
Hi, Tony here. I do have a quick question. But picking up on you said customer acquisition was largely through word of mouth. Can you talk to me a bit more about that? Because you've actually got global exposure already and a good run rate to begin with. So talk to me more about how you're acquiring people and what your go-to-market strategy in the future is.
Yeah, so we've aligned with some industry leaders as channel partners, and they have a global footprint already. And what we've done is by providing our tool to become a pivotal part of their onboarding process within their own sales pipeline. Every time they actually generate a sale, we generate a sale, and then our BDMs farm that out for further sort of a revenue and opportunity. So what started with pilots with enterprise customers has now turned into global footprints for our business.
Thank you. Any further questions? No. Okay. I would like to introduce Joe from Pocket Health, who will be our next presenter. Are you there, Joe?
Yes. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can. Would you like to?
Oh, I'll share my screen. And,
Yep, share your screen.
you guys see this?
Yes, we can see that.
Yeah, cool. I'm ready when you are.
Okay, when you're ready.
Okay, so if you're sick, why go to another place where hundreds of other sick people are? To fully understand this problem, let's take a look at the current patient journey. The current patient journey is actually very, very convoluted and time-consuming. From booking to doctor, going to the doctor, waiting, getting a prescription, driving to pharmacy, lining up, get home, your whole day could be gone. This is why we created My Med Kit. This is our flagship product. We bring medicine and healthcare to your door at a touch of a button. And our mission is to simplify the patient journey and the healthcare process. With My Med Kit, we basically provide a vertically integrated solution that streamlines the prescribing and the dispensing process so that users can access the healthcare anytime, anywhere, and from their couch. Some of the product features, so upload prescriptions for delivery, consult doctors, manage repeats and chronic medications. We're actually in the beta testing of it in our hospital feature right now. It's very close, but I can't talk too much about that today. Business model, very simple. We're a platform, so 10% from each consult, 16% from each e-commerce, and $3 from prescription. Since launching a year and a half ago, we've had scale from Brisbane only to Australia-wide. Currently, we've filled over 5,000 prescriptions through our 100+ pharmacy network, and we'll also have about 600 prescriber network with GPs and specialists. It's also important to note that our early adopters are not Betty Smith, that's 90 years old, that's living in a nursing home. It's not that. It's the mums with children, it's the working class, busy with kids, and those are really time poor. For any Betty Smith out there that's watching this on their iPads, I apologize. Project revenue, this is what we want to get to at 100,000 active users transacting once per month. We can talk about this in the Q&A if anyone's more interested. Regarding barrier to entry and our competitive advantages, it's about five different things. So prescription delivery is it's a very highly regulated and it's not just done by any courier. So we also have in-house tech supported by the Australian Digital Health Agency and the government now. And we have a very large doctor and specialist network. And also, it's important to note that we do own offline pharmacies and medical centers, so this becomes an extension of our offline offering, which makes it extremely low risk for investors. Go to market, PR is obviously build a bit of trust, B2B2C, it's important, and we're currently looking at a few joint ventures in some other countries. Team, handsome guy there. Four of us, founders, very different, diverse skill sets: tech, health, finance, law. Between us, we've managed over 300 employees and multiple businesses. So very proud of our team. Some press, Channel 7, Daily Mail, testimonials, people that users really like it, a very high lifetime value of each customer, and a lot of repeat users. So
thank you, Joe. That's your 3 minutes up, and we'll now open it up to the judges for questions.
Sure.
Hey, Joe, I was just wondering, this is Bronwyn, I was just curious to see how you found the change through COVID, because I noticed that a lot of doctors are doing things like emailing prescriptions to pharmacies and stuff directly now.
Yeah, one of the biggest problems right now with telehealth is after the doctor sends a script to the patient, they still need to leave the house to get it, or there's no way for them to actually get that script. So this is why we scaled really quickly this year. It's pretty much Australia-wide. We're pretty much the only app out there that can upload any scripts they already have and get it delivered on the same day. So it's been very good for us.
Thank you. Any further questions from our judges?
Hey, Joe, Tony here.
Yes. Hi, Tony.
You talk about your pharmacy network, your doctors and specialist network, and then you also said your own offline medical facilities also. It's a low-risk strategy. So talk to me a little bit more about this, because strategic alliances and getting through those barriers are massive. So talk to me more about that.
Sure. I own 2 pharmacies myself prior to entering this this venture. We have, through our network, we've got about 3 different medical centers that's spread across different states. So it's our healthcare. Probably we started managing medical centers and pharmacies initially, so we're very familiar with the industry, as well as some private hospitals actually. And so this is just, we've got the industry knowledge to do it.
Thank you.
Cool.
That's our time up for Q&A. And so we're ready for our next pitch, which is Victoria from Relievables. Victoria, are you ready to go?
I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, can hear you.
Great.
And we can see your slides there. No, we can't. Yes, we can. Thank you.
Yeah. Is that full screen now? Yeah.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Awesome. Hi, everyone. My name is Victoria, and I'm the CEO and founder of Relievables. And we enable businesses to build a better world through our responsible business management platform. Now, 2020, it's been an era-defining year. We've faced an increasing climate crisis, unprecedented pandemic, rising unrest around social injustice, and customers, employees, and investors, we all want businesses to be better for people on the planet. And as a result, businesses are under a huge amount of pressure to act, as you can see here, and so they should be. But I do have great news. There is mounting evidence that responsible businesses actually do outperform the market, including better revenue, better valuations, and better returns. So why isn't everyone doing it yet? Well, most businesses do want to, or at least they know that they should, but they're unsure of where they should start. They lack the time or the right internal expertise, and the current processes are manual and outdated. Our solution is Relievables. It's a responsible business platform. It's simple, it's consolidated, and it's a proactive way for businesses to discover, track, and report on their impact in the one central location. Businesses receive recommended actions and can leverage industry benchmarks and our global knowledge base so they know where to focus. Secondly, they can easily manage and track their projects centrally, ensuring corporate IP is retained. Thirdly, businesses can manage performance from their dashboard, easily aggregate all of their results into custom reports, and importantly, demonstrate real progress to their customers. Relievables has secured 10 consulting and accreditation partners who service over 108,000 businesses. The Relievables platform is currently being trialed by over 250 users with 5 transacting customers. Our platform operates on a tiered subscription model for businesses and a license agreement for consulting partners. Our current business customer spends an average of $249 per month currently. My previous experience includes a head of global growth and platform for logistics startup Hubs, where I was responsible for enterprise sales and integrating tech solutions for the companies that you see down the bottom. As a sustainable business consultant, I've helped hundreds of businesses improve their social and environmental impact. And finally, as a previous e-com founder, I know how hard it is to be responsible as a business in this current climate. Our team is growing rapidly, and we have a team of 8 advisors to assist us in scaling globally. In closing, whilst 2020 has been incredibly challenging, Relievables believes in the power of business to build a better world, and Relievables is the global technology solution that enables you to do that. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Victoria. And we'll open up the Q&A to our judges now. Any questions from our judges? No. Okay, that's fine. Sorry.
I was just actually waiting. I thought Ren might have jumped in with the social background, but I'm just curious about one of the key things you were talking about was metrics and reporting on impact measures. Can you talk to me a little bit more about that? Because that's quite a big thing in the world right now.
Yeah, definitely. So a lot of corporations, they choose a framework to actually help them report on metrics. So whether that be B Corp, Global Reporting Initiative, Sustainable Development Goals. So they're really great frameworks to help businesses manage and then report on those frameworks. So we help a business select one of those frameworks and then report on those metrics within the central dashboard. So every time you want to measure water or energy emissions from the platform, you can actually do that and put those accreditations out from that data across to the other accreditations.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further questions from our other judges? No. Okay. Oh, sorry.
One quick one. Ren here. Do you have any plans or ability to account for social and political disruptions to supply chains, as that seems to be a growing impetus to knowing this kind of information and having it readily accessible?
Yeah, so that is one of the biggest areas. I suppose the great thing about the platform is that you can actually centralize all of the data. Global supply chains, particularly in fashion, is always a really hard area. So this is why we're starting to incorporate AI components and blockchain to be able to, and using blockchain partners to be able to help measure those, but we're not there at this stage.
Okay, thanks, Ren, for that question. And just before we move on to our next presenter, just want to mention that if anybody would like to send their slide decks through to the judges, you can actually send them through us. Phil, did you have any further instructions on how they can do that?
Oh, just you have our emails, Chad and myself. Anything you would like to share with us, if it's your slides or other asks, we'll make sure we share it with this group and the mentor group.
Great, thanks very much. So next up, we have Jerome from InFarm. Jerome, are you there?
I am.
And ready to go? Yeah.
I am.
Okay.
Just want to make sure that you got everything there.
Yes, we can see your slides.
Fantastic.
So when you're ready, you can start.
Farmers are wasting hundreds of thousands of dollars every year by spraying areas of their paddock that don't need it. What we do is use our drone to tractor technology to define the zones that actually need to be sprayed. In fact, we've saved farmers up to 97.5% of their herbicide bill and turned their everyday tractor into a weed targeting machine. To put a dollar value on this means that we can save farmers more than $200,000 a year on just the herbicide costs alone. It's both extremely profitable for the farmer, but also has major environmental impacts in the soils and the waterways with a reduction in those chemicals. Now, in order to deliver this solution, what we've needed to do is build a powerful, scalable platform. What we've done is created a data acquisition platform that can capture 1 centimetre resolution imagery on a regional scale. We process these 6 terabytes of data that it generates in near real time and delivering the results to farmers overnight with no internet, no cloud. What the farmer gets is a tractor ready file on a USB that they can integrate into their standard variable rate tractor. From there, what we do is control the nozzles, turning them on if there are weeds and turning them off if there are no weeds. And in doing so, we've created this powerful processing platform that has allowed us to unlock big data analytics and artificial intelligence at the edge. We believe that this is one of the world's most powerful agricultural intelligence platform ever developed. Our target market are broadacre farmers. This is wheat, canola, corn on a global scale. We charge farmers $3 a hectare for the weed analysis. Nationally, there's up to 160 million hectares that need this analysis every year. And globally, it's a $22.5 billion global opportunity. Now, we've been recognised for our technology, namely winning the Australian Technology Competition Food and Agribusiness Award last year. And we've partnered with major companies such as Microsoft through their AI for Earth program, where we used our artificial intelligence system to detect weeds in pasture. We also partnered with Dell to create one of the world's most powerful edge computers ever built. And we're currently working with one of, if not the biggest agricultural company in the world, who's using our platform to solve one of their biggest problems. Since COVID, we've signed just under $1 million worth of contracts for our platform. And our plan over the next 1 year is to survey and analyse 1 million hectares. Once we demonstrate this, we would like to take on the world with global expansion, as weeds aren't just an Australian problem, but a global issue. My name's Jerome Leray. I started a remote sensing business and scaled it to a national footprint. And Ashley Walker is my right-hand man. He was heavily involved in a CSIRO project that developed a fully autonomous underground flying drone that mapped the three-dimensional environment. That's now been spun out into an independent company and has raised millions of dollars. We also have connections with former Google software engineer managers and global.
Thank you, Jerome. Your time is up. That was your 3 minutes. It goes so fast, doesn't it?
It does.
It does. So over to our judges for questions.
Hey, Jerome, it's Bronwyn. I'm just curious, so looks like you're doing a lot of global expansion on your slide, and I guess if money was no object, what would you be concentrating on next?
Yeah, really good question. So with our data acquisition platform, we actually have essentially a flying science laboratory, and by providing the fallow weed, we can actually pay for a lot of the analysis and then start to develop other products. So there's a couple of things that we have in terms of the detection of feral animals that we've been working on, and also been looking at certain crop diseases. We've done some significant work in that space. So anything that basically helps the farmer and the bottom line is something that we're pretty keen to pursue. And we've done some significant work also on the terrain modeling side, being able to help farmers manage water on their farm.
Thank you. Any further questions?
Yeah, I have a question. Jerome, Tony here.
Hey, Tony.
Talk to me a bit more about your team, mate. It's drone utilization in ag is actually a really big industry right now. You got some really cool tech there. It's very competitive. You got some really good tech background. Where's your business development side coming from? Because a lot of this is really going to come down to who gets there first.
Sure. So we've got a couple of major global players. One of them that I can't actually name here, they've got a global footprint. And when I say they've got the global footprint, they're the biggest ag company in the world. So they're using our platform at the moment. And we'll be actually looking to push that through our channel partners throughout the world to be able to do that. But they've got the contacts in those certain regions around the world. And this is an extremely scalable platform that we can literally go and plug in and start delivering that globally. So yes, it's a competitive landscape, but there aren't too many people that are doing this ultra high resolution, sub-centimeter resolution on these regional scales. We've been able to develop something quite special in that space.
So do you have a signed agreement with this company that remains nameless?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Great questions as well. And we'll move on to our next pitch. Now, I'm sure I'm going to get the name of this incorrect. So Vishwas, are you ready to present? And can you just confirm the name of your company? Is it Colliago?
Sorry, it's Adrian Vishwas is my product manager. My name's Adrian Dinatali.
Adrian, welcome. Sorry, I can't see the screen at the moment with everybody's names, so I'm just going off my run sheet here. So welcome, Adrian, and can you just correct the pronunciation of the company, please?
It's called Caligo, as in college.
Caligo. Okay, fantastic. If you'd like to set up your pitch now.
Okay, can you see my screen?
No, not at the moment.
Okay, let's try that.
Ah, that's better.
So you can see my front page there?
Yes, I can see that now. So when you're ready, we'll start the timer.
All right, I'm ready to go. Okay, so Caligo essentially connects employers with their staff when they need them most, when they need to book and mobilise them for shifts, when rosters break down. Anyone that has run a business in the past that uses casuals or temps knows how difficult this is. Think of restaurants, cafes, etc., pick and pack locations, and so forth. So we essentially make it easy. We've built the perfect solution. It's a scalable mobile and web app solution that allows staff to seamlessly connect to their employer once they're invited and update their availability anytime, anywhere. So the employers and those with the necessary rights have a full detailed management dashboard with deep analytics, and they can track where their staff are working. They can ring fence them to certain aged care facilities or venues, depending on the need. They can share staff across different locations and facilities, which is quite useful for when you have chains of stores and things like that, and one store is understaffed and another one has staff that aren't working. We've developed intuitive mobile apps, and user experience has been key for us, and seamlessness is probably our mantra. So employees can connect very easily. The reality of work, our market is really any employer that has casual or temp staff or shift-based work. It's typically in Australia, US, Canada, and the UK is not far behind, about a third of the workforce, and OECD is about 16.5%. This applies to just about any industry that relies on those people. So my focus for this discussion is really the Australian market. It is a huge market in its own right, and other countries such as the UK, US, and so forth are a lot bigger again. Comparable solutions. Most organisations use rostering tools, which are quite static. Larger companies have ERP solutions, and they're not purely mobile, transportable, easily customisable, or cost effective, especially when you're a small business or a small to medium enterprise. Design and functionality is front of mind. We actually work on a many-to-many basis. So a casual employee could be a barista in a cafe and a pick and packer for another chain supermarket. And if both of those employers are using Caligo, that person has their employment and shifts and all that in one record, although they don't know, or one instance. However, the employers don't know who else they work for. We use SMS and push notifications. So an employer such as personnel agencies that have tight time to appoint deadlines and so forth can use SMS for greater cut through. And that's two-way SMSing if people aren't in a mobile or a Wi-Fi enabled area.
Thank you, Adrian. Your time is up.
Great, that was my last.
That was, yep, fantastic. And we will now pass over to our judges for any questions.
Fantastic, thanks.
I'll jump in with one because I've actually worked with a founder from Daydot that's worked on this problem before. You didn't really give much specifics to your user base, and I noticed you've been around for a while. What trends, what kind of industries do you get the most traction with?
So where we're doing a lot of work at the moment is in the temp agency space. So we're currently working on an integration with an applicant tracking system called Bullhorn and a payroll provider called Astute. Now those two platforms go hand in hand. So we've recently reached agreement to integrate to join their marketplace. They have about 1,000 agencies in Australia on using their system. So that marketplace will give us some great access to those. And that's probably the industry we thought we'd disrupt the most, but that's where most of our interest has come from.
Fantastic, thank you. Any further questions? Got time for one more?
I can jump in. One of the challenges we've seen obviously during COVID, and unfortunately for Victoria, was people using shift work and everything else, or workers, to basically fill in jobs on short demand. Who's responsible for quality control of skills and training and certifications with this? Are you just an intermediary, or are you taking any liability on this?
So basically, the users of our platform have their own employees, whether they're temporary employees in an agency environment or casuals within a business. What Calego allows them to do, though, is ring fence their employees. So if someone has been sent to an aged care facility, for argument's sake, they know that that was the last place they worked and when they worked there, and can avoid sending them to another location. But as far as operationally, the onus is on them. We can only furnish them with the information, and really the employees they put on their books is really at their discretion and due diligence.
Okay,
Thank you, Adrian.
Thank you.
That's great. We will now be moving on to our next presenter, and we're actually going to ask Murray from Mobile UV Innovations just to come back and redo his pitch, because we had a bit of a technical glitch and we were unable to actually view the slide deck, the pitch deck. So Murray, we're going to give you another opportunity to show us what you had there originally. So we do apologise, but please go ahead.
Yes,
Okay,
I'm sharing the slide deck. Please confirm if you guys can see it.
Yes, we'll let you know when we can see it.
Can you see it now?
No. Yes. Yes, we've got it. Yay.
Ooh. Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Right. Every second, a vulnerable patient is infected. Every 3 minutes, a vulnerable patient dies from a healthcare-acquired infection. That's 1 in 10 patients infected. So what if you're patient number 10? According to World Health Organization, 700,000 deaths a year occur at the cost of $60 billion in lost bed days. These are preventable. Human cleaning error is the main cause of contaminated surfaces and healthcare-acquired infection. Meet Movie, the first of our 2 products, a clinically proven UV light technology that kills superbugs and disinfects highly touched surfaces and mobile medical equipment. That's why in February, 4 Wuhan hospitals purchased a large quantity of our technology to decontaminate surfaces and air. And that's why Australian dentists, clinics and aged care have purchased over $200,000 since the beginning of the year. Our second is our game changer patent pending sensor. After clinical feedback, we developed the wireless sensor to digitally validate movies that has disinfected a room or equipment. It's a tiny digital sensor that attaches to portable medical equipment, a wheelchair or ventilator. The movie platform gives visibility, accountability, and saves lives. Our primary competitors are really chemicals and humans wiping surfaces. Other UV competitors do exist, but they cost around $100,000 per unit. Some hospitals use hydrogen peroxide for disinfecting at $20 per room, and it takes 2 hours. Movies technology is a pay-per-use, a hardware-as-a-service model. Just a few dollars per disinfection and the sensor network. Movies faster, cheaper, very scalable globally. Our primary market is the 30,000 OECD hospitals in high-risk wards, ICU, theatres, oncology. There's also 700,000 dentists. It's over a $200 million market. We're now deploying our first 100 units in dental, aged care and workplaces. Clinical trials are underway in major Australian hospitals and planned for Germany and Asia. We're building a sales dealer network to scale abroad into Europe. Movie has great depth in our product, sales, marketing, operation, and experienced in Australia, Asian and European markets with healthcare commercialisation. Connect us to your network. Join us at Movie as we save lives and shine a bright light on superbugs and reduce 1 in 10 infection and help high-risk vulnerable patients globally. Thank you.
Thanks, Murray. That was so much easier to understand with those slides. Over to our judges for questions. No more questions for Murray?
No, actually, first of all, thank you. That made a hell of a lot more sense that time. So I must admit, I was scratching my head and sending messages. All right, very quickly, you mentioned clinical trials. Talk to me again about your metrics and your funding or revenue, whatever, to date, because doing clinical trials and getting TGA approvals is not a cheap exercise. So how are you funding all this? And in the middle of the world's greatest crisis for the last 100 years, to have got $200,000 worth of sales is great, but I would have anticipated a lot more, given that this is the absolute perfect black swan for you to be selling into right now.
Yeah, so at the moment we've been bootstrapped, just self-funding up to this moment. Where later this year we're looking to do a capital raise. So we're undertaking we've got some clinical trials on at the moment. So they've been self-funded to this point. So we are seeking out to be raising capital shortly over the next few months.
How much capital are you planning to raise?
We're looking at 750.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
No further questions?
Just to add on that, Tony, we also got Ethics and Governance Hospital from Royal Melbourne Hospital, Melbourne, for clinical validation again.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you for that. Okay, so thanks, Murray.
So,
We'll
yeah,
now move on. Sorry, was there another question? No. Okay, we'll move on to our next presenter. And this is Sport Master. Do we have Ethan with us?
Yes, I'm right here.
Thanks, Ethan. We'll give you a minute to get your slides up.
Sorry. Everyone see it?
Not yet.
Yes. Sorry. We got it?
Yeah. Yes, we can see that. So when you're ready, Ethan, we'll start the timer for you.
How far would you go to help your children achieve their dreams? Oh. Two teams going head-to-head in a sporting contest is often referred to as going to war. Sun Tzu's famous quote highlights the necessity to study and know yourself, the enemy, and other external elements in order to secure complete victory in battle. I wanted to be the best in the AFL. I gave my life to the sport, but in Sun Tzu's eyes, I was destined for defeat. Why? Because I couldn't get ahead of the game using my brain like the professionals can. They read situations faster and anticipate outcomes better than anyone else. What if you could have this knowledge? Right now, this isn't possible until you reach a professional club. This is echoed in a recent conversation I had with one of AFL's great names, Matthew Lappin, who said, "The gap, I believe, is in teaching the individual and team to get ahead of the game with the use of their brain. I call that AFL IQ. This needs to be developed at a younger age." That's why we developed Sportmaster. Sportmaster's subscription-based model facilitates the streaming of sport video lessons presented by the smartest in sports. Our video-on-demand platform will provide young athletes with the necessary resources to invest in their mental approach to the game. There are 1.6 million registered AFL players across Australia, with over 400 million registered participants in team sports worldwide. Sportmaster can be adopted in any team sport. We have already received interest from professionals in netball, soccer, and rugby league. Our platform is unique when compared to the competitors such as Masterclass and The Skills. Our product is channeled in two series. The How I Do It series, which features a current professional player of the game who breaks down, analyzes, and teaches their key strengths as to what makes them a great player. The second is the 1% series, which is a weekly observational analysis from the eyes of an expert on recently played AFL games who break down the 1%ers that determine the game's outcome. I know I'm early, but I'm the right person to get this done. With degrees in law and finance, I have played professional AFL myself, And I've, in the 2 months of starting Sportmaster, acquired 6 incredible minds as shown here, who are passionate about solving this problem and creating their own series for Sportmaster. Our primary target market is parents with children in sports, 10 to 16 years age, who are spending considerable amounts of money with their kids to chase their dreams. Our rollout strategy involves distributing our platform to the influence of our team members and partnering with local football clubs. We have already have 1 club agreed to distribute our beta to their players. We have had conversations with another 3 clubs who have all expressed interest in partnering. Given we attract 1,000 users, a 0.06% total accessible market for AFL, we're forecasted a net income of $20,000. Following these assumptions, we have forecasted capturing a 12% total accessible market to receive a net income of $45 million in year 5. Our next steps are producing our initial series and building beta platform to test the market. What I'm looking for is a mentor for tech decisions and approximately $180,000 in funding for reasons above. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ethan. We'll open it up to our judges now for questions.
Hey, Ethan, it's Bronwyn. Just curious, can you talk a little bit about is there any personalization features in the application, like to be a bit more specific to the athlete?
Yep, so our athletes will be acquired from all different positions and they will teach, I guess, their strengths related to those positions. And so being an AFL player or an athlete, you can look up and see those positions. But in terms of individualized concepts to stop people from, I guess, spreading their login, we're in the process of designing a point system that people will get from completing masterclasses and submitting answers and engagement. So that way we can incentivize them to engage with the content. And so does that answer your question?
Yeah, thanks for that.
We have time for one more question if anybody has one.
You talked about your target market. I'm thinking about who's paying, and you talked about you're targeting parents.
Yeah.
Have you actually looked at the player pathways programs as well? As you said, they're pre-elite, so they don't have access to all the big level support, but there's a whole lot of junior development programs and everything that are funded out there. Just wondering if you considered that.
Consider that in terms of competition or as
a potential market customer?
Right, so you're talking about players themselves?
Yeah, so as you said, the parents are always a prime potential payer, a source of money in these situations. But then you've also got a lot of junior clubs and everything else and other player pathway programs that may also want to get access to this type of support. So I'm just sort of wondering if there's a broader base than just the parent base.
Yeah, exactly. So I've actually going back to the, I don't know why it's not working. Going back to the team slide, we've got Michael Barlow on the bottom left. He's actually head of the Simon Black Academy. He's over the Victorian side of that. He's doing a masterclass, and he was saying in their academy alone that during this time of coronavirus, especially, that they haven't been able to, I guess, engage with their customers at all, the people that are involved in that academy, and something like this would be pivotal for them. And so we've got, I guess, a lot of different, I guess, ways we'll go about it, but the ones will be the parents, but then also football clubs, because participants in sport register with their football club, and we will partner with those football clubs to disperse that throughout their club and give them skin in the game so that they actually have incentive to do that.
Thanks, Ethan.
Cool. Thank you, Matt.
Yeah,
thank you.
Great. Thank you very much for that. We're now going to move on to our next pitch, which is SensorWeb. Darren, have we got Darren here?
It's actually Simon will be doing it.
Sorry, it is Simon. Thanks, Simon. When you're ready, we'll get you started. Okay, we can see your slides there.
Excellent.
Yep.
Hi, everyone. I'm Simon. My SensorWeb journey begins over 10 years ago when I was decommissioning a nuclear reactor. I could see that monitoring could and should be better. Radiation exposure is the leading cause of cancer amongst miners, flight crew, and medical specialists. Monitoring of radiation exposure is currently done through users wearing a type of film badge that records the amount of radiation it is exposed to. These badges are collected after 3 months and sent off to be read. Then you've got to wait another 3 months for that report. This system might work well for compliance, but it's useless for safety when cancer-causing exposures can happen in minutes. Imagine you're driving your car for 6 months without a speedo and setting your driving habits by the speeding tickets that you've received at the end of 6 months. Let that sink in while you consider we're talking about a completely invisible hazard. We've built that speedo for radiation monitoring. We've developed area, vehicle-mounted and wearable units with automated reporting and immediate email and SMS alert notifications, allowing entire organization view in real time immediately. Users can then focus down into individual sites, laboratories, uploading their own floor plans, workshops, projects, or even display historical information and manually create a report. The level of assurance reduces risk and makes operators and the community more comfortable. All IP is owned as we've had to develop both the hardware and control interface in-house. The current Australian market size for radiation monitoring is over 300 million Australian dollars per year, with a total addressable market of 15 billion US dollars, and an increased investment of over the next 5 years of 700 billion just for upkeep and maintenance in the US nuclear industry alone. The sensor as a service subscription makes sense to have a fully maintained service with a small ongoing expense. We are partnering with a European company for the next generation mobile modular reactor technology and an Australian federal government department. Our clients have received positive support and more freedom from state radiation regulators, so we know we are on the right track. The World Nuclear Gazette wrote an article highlighting our unique and operationally simplified approach to the existing radiation safety and compliance problems. And we've been invited to present our developments at the International Atomic Energy Association in Vienna. We are uniquely experienced to bring this project to market, as I've worked for over 20 years in radiation safety management for nuclear, medical and mining. In research, and I'm currently the Queensland Chair of Australasian Radiation Protection Society. Darren has over 20 years in enterprise IT and is internationally recognised for innovative IT solutions and management. We're looking for introductions to Minister Keith Pitt so we can provide community assurance and industry support around the Australian radiation waste storage initiatives. We are SensorWeb, and we are the future of radiation safety and security.
Thank you, Simon. That was great. And we will open up our Q&A to our judges now. Over to you.
Hey, Simon, how's it going?
Not too foul at all. How are you today?
I'm okay. Just curious, so if you've developed all the hardware and stuff yourselves, is it all intrinsically safe for like the high risk workplaces?
So we've got an industry partner for the mining space that's actually doing our intrinsically safe testing in board. So some of our units like this, which is the personal dosimeter, that's currently going through safety checks right now.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
Any further questions from our judges? We have time for another one.
Just the only question I have is more about actual existing traction and go-to-market strategy.
Yep. So right now we've got 2 major player partners in Australia and an international partner that are already functioning with us. We can't really use any of their names. Got to love nuclear space. We should have scaled up with one of our, with the larger of the Australian partners, but COVID stopped us being able to go into site and scale up, and they don't have the skill to do the install and development on their site at the moment. But we've also started a partnership with an Australian regulatory and research group that hopefully we can start doing some social media on in the next month or 2.
Great, thanks for that. Okay, well, everyone, you should be pleased to know that we're running just a couple of minutes ahead of schedule, which is fabulous. And we're down to our final 5 pitches for this evening. So next up, we have Grabox. And is it Drew that we have here with us this evening?
Yes, that's right.
Hi, how are you? Did I say your name correctly? Please correct me if it's incorrect.
No, it's fine.
Okay, thank you. All
Can
right.
you see the screen?
All ready to go? When you're ready, please start.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Dhruv Kali, and I'm the co-founder of Grabbox, a marketplace platform for real-world consumer engagement. Think of a free drink you tried at an event or a free sample of nut bar that you got at a train station. You can't ignore it. You can't swipe right or swipe left. It was right in front of you. This is known as experiential marketing, an approach used by strategic marketers to reach consumers and cut through the digital invoice. To date, this is over $100 billion physical activation industry and is constantly gaining momentum because us humans, we do crave physical interactions. However, physical activations are highly fragmented, they have inability to scale, and they are hard to measure as they're offline. But imagine if the brands can book, measure, and manage their physical activations in the same way as they do Google or Facebook ads. Grabbox makes this possible. At Grabbox, we made this possible. We connect brands with the network of innovative activation spaces such as rideshare cars, food delivery networks, and short-term rental properties. This now provides real-world engagement to the brands and captive audience for the longer times. I'll walk you through a case study. Unilever recently launched a kombucha beverage, and through Grabbox, they managed to reach over 70,000 Australians, wherein the new beverage was handed over as a sample with the food delivery orders from Uber Eats, Deliveroo, and other partners. To not only gauge their insights into the brand value, but also used as a consumer feedback mechanism at a price less than a Google click. In terms of market size, it's over $100 billion market, and out of that, $20 billion is purely product sampling market. And Grabbox aims to capture 5% of that market in the next 5 years. As part of our business model, we take 35% commission from the activation host on each transaction that facilitates through our platform. In the past 8 months, we have been growing rapidly with more than 1,300 activation hosts on our platform and 100% month-on-month growth, with the monthly revenues taking up to $80,000 a month. Furthermore, we have recently expanded our operations in United Kingdom and New Zealand. This growth has also piqued interest from several rideshare and food delivery companies such as Uber, who are in talks with varied collaborative arrangements across certain jurisdictions. And our platform is currently used by some of the major international global brands such as Coca-Cola, Mondelez, Unilever, Nestle, and many more. With our current growth projections, we aim to reach 600,000 activation spaces in next 5 years and clock a revenue of over $350 million by the end of 2025. In terms of competitive landscape, we do not have any major competition in ANZ region and in North and South America. However, the competition is building slowly in Asia, specifically Indonesia and China. So the key to success is the growth.
Thank you, Dhruv. That's your time up, unfortunately. So hopefully you were close to the end there. We'd like to open up the Q&A to the judges now.
You went through it really fast. How exactly do you bridge the information divide between the offline and the online consumer interface?
So basically, we have this activation host. So for example, the brands, the logistics is really intensive for particularly like managing the physical activations. So we do manage that. And plus there's a digital web app through which all these activation hosts get it. When they deliver the sample along with the, let's say that either it's a food delivery or rideshare, they collect consumer data, or when the consumer scans a QR code through analytics, we collect the consumer data.
Thank you. Any further questions from our judges?
Mandy, quick question was, take me back through the traction, what you've actually achieved so far. There's a very limited timeframes of these pitches. Do you understand that?
Yep, sure. So basically, we have over 1,300 activation spaces, and we are doing a monthly revenue of $80,000 a month, growing on $80,000 a month, except July, which was a bit low due to pandemic. And then now we recently expanded into New Zealand and United Kingdom as well this month.
And how are you going to manage those expansions internationally?
We have a team of 12. We did raise a pre-seed round before, and now we're also raising our seed round currently.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Dhruv. We will now be moving on to our next pitch, which is Artec and William. Do we have William with us
Yes,
today?
I'm here. I'm here, ready to go. I'll just share screen now.
Fantastic.
Here we go. Okay, can you see that now?
Yes, we've got that. And so when you're ready.
All right, so I'll start now. My name's William Ritchie. I am the co-founder and CEO of Artec. We are a plastic recycling innovation company. The problem we're trying to solve is there's 8 billion tonnes of plastic waste produced by humanity, 5 trillion plastic particles an hour in the oceans. It's a massive health and environmental catastrophe. One of the problems is recycling is just too process heavy and costly to deal with it efficiently. And you can see some of the data for Australia. Australia is currently recycling, or according to 2017-18, a whopping 9.4%, and most of that was sent overseas for recycling. Our solution, commoditise plastic waste through innovation to generate circular economy and waste to wealth pathways. This involves new technology lowering recycling costs, increasing recycling rates, and reducing waste and pollution. This is our innovation. We are talking about a direct melt and manufacture device where we can take waste in its post-consumer form, melt it into a product. Down the bottom, you can see a fertiliser bag going into the intake of our prototype and coming out as a melt flow on the video. Our business model is relatively simple, but has a few moving parts. Technology offers cost of production advantage. Initially, once we scale up, we hope to go straight into producing recycled bead to get cash flow. From there, we can generate products directly, and then thirdly, we'll commercialise our technology. And throughout this process, continued R&D will happen. Our market, there's strong growth expected in plastic recycling. Production of bead is already there. It's a global tradable commodity. Product production is a real emphasis on this at the moment. Commercialisation of the technology has tremendous scope even domestically in Australia. You can see there's a number of, the waste industry is rather widespread and could use this in a number of ways. R&D opportunities exist throughout this industry, and there's a real focus on that at the moment, and that's something we'll continue to focus on. Traction so far, we are pre-revenue startup. We have a patent underway, engineering pathway established to a commercial machine. We're partnered with a university. We've been speaking to anyone everywhere, from government to private industry, and we're currently talking about investment. And we also have our waste streams established. Our team, there's myself, I'm a scientist and R&D specialist, and I'm the principal innovator. And my business partner is my uncle, Michael Ritchie, who's had over 30 years in plastic recycling and has a profound industry knowledge of waste recovery and aggregation and recycling. Our next steps, produce that commercial prototype, establish our business, prove what we can do, generate jobs and revenue, commercialise technology, commoditise plastic waste, and ultimately reduce plastic pollution. And that's the end of my talk, so thank you very much.
Thank you, William. That was great. I will hand over to our judges now for questions.
Hey, William, I'd love to hear about where you're looking at sourcing the plastic materials from and how you're going to deal with like contamination and the leftovers from when you melt the plastic down.
Yep, not a problem. So no leftovers, thermoplastic waste. What goes in comes out, gets moulded into a product. Contamination, we're contamination tolerant to a degree, but we've sourced a number of linear waste streams, particularly in the agricultural sector, where we can use their waste, generate products and turn them straight back around and onto the farm. Price-wise, we're about half the cost of traditional recycling. Does that help?
Yeah. Yeah. So is it mainly agricultural sort of like plastics, like
that's where we're going to start.
Stuff?
That's where we're going to start. But in a lot of industries, you get a lot of post-consumer waste that's in a fairly linear form. Fertilizer bags, hundreds and hundreds of tons of those things. Grain bags in the agricultural industry. These things go through very, very well and make a reasonable integrity product, and the contamination is fairly low. Certainly our machine tolerates it, that's for sure.
And follow-on question from that one, Bronwyn already asked the other one I was going to ask. What's your plan for adapting as the types of plastics that need to be dealt with and processed change?
But thermoplastic waste is a large category. They're the plastics that you can heat up, melt down, remold. We've done polypropylene and all the polyethylenes without issue, and mixtures of the two. We've even done kitchen waste, this type of stuff they hand in at Coles and Woolworths. Yeah, not a problem.
And what about when industry starts to shift over more to plant-based plastics? Because that's already happening.
I think I covered that early on. There's 8 billion tonnes of plastic out there that's got nowhere to go. So we're talking about circular economy solutions. So if we take a plastic, long-term lockup and end-of-life recovery and reuse. So we can generate this thing with what's out there now without needing to worry about certain plastics being phased out. And you're never going to phase out some of the plastics they use on food coverings in agriculture. You just can't surpass what's there. It's a great product, plastic. It's the end-of-life solutions that are needed.
Thank you. We'll have to wrap up that Q&A there. But thanks very much, William, for that.
Thank you for having me.
No worries. We'll now move on to our next pitch. And just before I do that, just a reminder for those that might have jumped in a little bit later, that if you would like to forward your slide deck to either Chad or Phil, they will be able to forward those on to the judges. Okay, so next up we have marine algae. And I believe we have Hugh. Is it Hugh that we've got here today?
Yes.
Yes, fantastic. Hugh, if you'd like to organise your slides.
Are we all there now?
Great. Yes, we can see that.
Okay, I'm ready to go.
You might have to speak up a little bit, or you sound a little bit quiet at the moment.
Is that any better?
That's fabulous. Thank you.
Okay.
When you're ready.
Hi. 60% of all adult women suffer period pain or dysmenorrhea. Period pain may often be more painful than a heart attack. What's the current medical advice? Mindfulness to a hysterectomy. But it's not just pain to the individual. UK estimates that 8 days are lost per woman per year, and the published cost for Australia is over 9.2 billion. This doesn't even include the cost of endometriosis. We've been growing seaweed for animal and plant health over the last 3 years in the Philippines. For millennia, humans have known seaweed is good for us. Researchers said we needed about a bowl of fresh seaweed for benefits, about 4 grams dry. So 12 months ago, we put dry seaweed into capsules and began selling to older people for lifestyle-related diseases. And what works for animals actually works for humans. Last Christmas, Katie, a young law student, who told my co-founder, Gray, my period pain has gone from an 11 out of 10 to a 0. And my 41-year-old daughter, Amanda, confirmed she went from a 9 to a 1. COVID-19 struck. Being flexible entrepreneurs, we decided to pivot to this novel application. We repurposed a planned pilot trial to use our stock on hand. We had enough for 150 in the Philippines, in Australia and New Zealand. Before seaweed, 75% had pain exceeding a 5. After seaweed, 75% had pain less than 5. Not only was it pain, but reproductive health improved for every aspect of menstruation. To the delight of many, PMS symptoms were gone. Trial participants got their lives back. So we started selling 2 months ago, in revenue with over 200 customers. Our margins are greater than 60%. With FDA approval in Philippines, we'll shortly begin over-the-counter sales through pharmacies and grocery shops and direct sales with call centres who actually wear that cost of absenteeism. Our 5-year business plan requires regulatory compliance for global over-the-counter sales and to get traction with distribution partners and or license our compliance, but we'll continue to sell direct. Our vision is that every woman can get their seaweed in a chocolate or a tablet at any checkout in the world. Our team is experienced. Our advisors are thought leaders in functional food, seaweed, and women's health, and women's health organisations have committed support for this initiative. We seek a female co-founder to be the inspiration and face for women's health. 2 older white males won't connect, where periods are often a taboo subject in many cultures. We need someone with passion, integrity, and experience. This is a multi-billion opportunity at $1 a day. We can grow and supply enough seaweed for every woman who needs period pain fixed. To get to every woman globally, though, we need $1 million. This is philanthropic, but profitable. Women from any walk of life, rich or poor, should have access and not suffer. Whether you're a woman in a clothing sweatshop in Egypt or a boardroom in Manhattan, women have suffered too long.
Your time's up. So thank you very much for that. And we'll now ask our judges if they have any questions for you.
I just have a quick one actually about your supply and the communities that that grow your seaweed. How do you ensure that this is something that they want to, make central to how they earn their money, and they're not going to be tempted to, go off and do other things that are maybe not as sustainable, and seaweed, doesn't incorporate into that?
There is already a very large industry of seaweed production, but most of the seaweed that people use to date is actually is either in cosmetics or in food gels, agars, or in those sort of products. So we have a charitable company, foundation in the Philippines. We pay above essentially wages and support structures to actually keep them employed. So yes, there will be competition, but the short answer is in this business now, as we realize, which is philanthropic, but is also can make money as well.
Thanks.
Thank you. Any further questions?
Yeah, hey you, would you be able to talk to me a little bit more about how you'd market the product?
Well, I think there's a short-term goal and a long-term goal, and so the key part of going to market right now is that we have to go direct. We will market it to. We are marketing it to businesses. So if you have a little small call center in Davao has 2,600 women there, their biggest issue is actually sick days. So because when people go off in absenteeism. So for them, there's a financial benefit for the business, but there's also that those women in particular, if they have 2 days off, they don't actually get any, there's no sick leave. So we're already having them where they pick it up and they have almost an MLM type distribution model. So that's what we are today. In 2 years, when the compliance is done, then Nestle should be putting it into every single Mars bar that's available at a counter. So women, no matter where they are in the world, can actually have access.
Thank you. That's our time up for our Q&A session. So thank you very much, Hugh. We'll move on to our next pitch. And that is from Docterio, or Docterio, sorry, Docterio.
Yep, it's Docterio, yeah.
Yeah, and it's Abra.
So Abra's not here, it's me, Rizwan.
Rizwan, welcome.
Yep, thank you. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, and we can see your slides there. So when you're ready, please start.
Just give me a moment. Waqif, can you go to the next slide and see if it's not stuck, mate? Super. Can you go? Yep.
Yeah, looks good.
Yeah, all good. So let's start. Hello, this is Rizwan, co-founder of Docterio. Our mission is to simplify and transform doctor-patient healthcare experience using state-of-the-art technology. Did you know that non-communicable diseases are the primary cause of deaths in developing countries? It causes 61% of deaths in Bangladesh alone, and Docterio's mission is to bring that figure down. This is because 75% of the population in Bangladesh doesn't have access to proper healthcare services. There are 1,800 patients for only one doctor to handle. It takes on average 2 days to book an appointment with an average delay time of 75 minutes during consultations. Everything is done on pen and paper with no electronic health records, and this leads to a lot of misdiagnosis. To tackle this problem, Docterio has built a web app to provide telehealth services. Using this, patients get to book appointment instantly, and the proper scheduling system eliminates the wait time. It is going to be a B2B business model, and we are going to charge subscription fee from private clinics, and that way doctors and patients won't have to pay for our services. The recurring revenue from this gives us more visibility and provides us with a financial discipline. There are over 23,000 private clinics and hospitals all over Bangladesh with a handsome TAM size of 175 million Australian dollars in Bangladesh alone, with the SOM size in the capital city of 1.8 million Australian dollars. There are other similar markets in South Asia and African region, and due to COVID-19, the market growth has accelerated. Since our inception, we have onboarded 4 clients, and the rate of our end users have increased by 200% during COVID. In addition to over 2,500 followers on social media, we have also partnered with Jago Foundation, which is one of the largest NGOs in Bangladesh. Now, Ahmedul Kabil is one of the first clients who owns a private hospital that lacks digital infrastructure. There are over 7,300 Ahmedul Kabirs in the Dhaka city alone. Based on the industry analysis, Doctorio is both affordable and scalable. As we do not have doctors on our payroll, this gives access to a plethora of doctors. Hence, this gives us a complete control over our value chain, and the doctors and patients use our services for free. The table lists some of the features of Doctorio that our competitors do not provide. Our affiliations include Health 10X Accelerator Program and George Institute, and Doctorio was in the winning cohort this year. Meet the happy faces behind Doctorio, our CTO, Waqif, having over 2 years of experience in software development and product management, Abrar with over 3 years of experience in sales and marketing, and I, Rizwan, the CEO, have over 3 years of experience in raising capital for social enterprises. And last but not the least, our board of advisors provide us with the necessary tools across various fields to help us grow. And as for our ask, we want to raise $100,000 for finalizing our product dev. We need mentors for better clinical trials. And we want to receive the freebies and discounted services from EWC that would allow us to have a better company structure and team building. It's not only makes us just thank you.
Thank you. That was fantastic. Opening up to our judges now for any questions for Rizwan.
I have one. What are the regulatory barriers that you're facing in the markets that you're looking to launch into, and how are you going to overcome them?
All right, so I think I'll take this question. In terms of regulatory issues, what we have is a very critical product, but it's not. It does not affect the points where we need regulatory stuff that we need, right? So we started in April, and over the past couple of months, we were able to fully push it out and get a couple of clients in without any regulatory barriers.
Thank you. Any further questions? No. Okay. Thank you very much.
Sorry, Veronica.
Yes, you do have one.
Sorry,
Yep.
Tony here. Not so much a
Tony.
question, it's more an observation. When you talk about your team, it's a very young and experienced team. The emerging markets and the developing markets and economies are a massive market. So actually coming up with a business model that can actually work in those environments is a really significant thing. So I think there's a real need to look at your business model and to get the advisors on board that can actually help you construct that. But yeah, because you just say most people don't want to tackle these markets like Bangladesh, but the reality is they are massive and growing. So yeah, interesting. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony.
Absolutely. Yeah, one of our points in the asks was for mentors as well to help us build the team. Yeah.
And also because we are going to be one of the first mover, we have that advantage as well. So yeah, it would be amazing to have a mentor guiding us throughout it.
Thank you both, and thank you, Tony, for that. Yes. We'll move on to our final pitch for today, and that is from the company is Fable Food. And do we have Michael here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hi, Michael. How are you?
Yeah, good, thanks. Thanks for
Okay,
having me.
we'll let you get your slides set up.
Great. Start presenting.
And let me know when you're ready.
Yeah, you can see that okay?
Yes, that's good.
Perfect. Great. So yeah, Michael Fox from Fable. We make delicious meaty food from mushrooms. The problem that we're solving is that global meat production is unsustainable and unhealthy. It's responsible for 14.5% of global greenhouse gas emissions and 38.5% of the use of the world's habitable landmass. The market is also for meat globally is very large. It makes up 2.5% of global GDP, one of the largest industries in the world, and it's a $2 trillion market. We're initially focusing on Australia, the UK, and Singapore. Our solution to solving the problem of reducing people's meat consumption is to give them what they want, the delicious taste and texture of meat, but make it out of mushroom and plant-based ingredients. There's some other players in the space doing plant-based meats. Our key points of difference are that we use all natural, whole food, minimally processed ingredients. Our first product is 62% shiitake mushroom. And then secondly, we're not doing another burger patty or mince. We replicate slow-cooked meats like pulled pork, braised beef, beef brisket. So we're actually complementary rather than competitive with the existing products in the market. We launched in December 2019 and we've had some great traction. We're now, even with COVID, on the menu in over 100 venues across Australia. We're in Heston Blumenthal's UK restaurants and we're launching in Singapore. We've also had success with Marley Spoon doing meal kits. In February, they told us Fable was their best new product launch ever, and they've added us to their dinnerly menus and are now doing ready meals with the product. Then in April this year, we launched into retail with Harris Farm, a premium retailer in Australia. And then we launched into 600 Woolworths stores in June and sold out in 3 states in our first week. We've got a lot more great customers in the pipeline. We're launching some ready meals into Woolworths in 2 weeks' time. We're launching our base product into 800 Coles stores in October. We're launching with Mad Mix in January. Judges, I'll send you the rest of the boxes here. We're under NDA with the other parties that we're doing product development with at the moment, so I can't share on the live stream, but I'll send that through in a deck. Then we have a second and third products in development, a mushroom-based burger and a mushroom-based mince, which are going to launch later this year. And our goal is to replicate all the major types of meat in the market, make mushroom and plant-based versions of them. My background, co-founded Shoes of Prey, a technology business that we grew to 200 people. I've been vegetarian for 5 years, so very passionate about this space. My co-founders, Jim's a fine dining chef and mycologist, which is a mushroom scientist. He's worked for more than a decade in each of those fields. Chris McLaughlin co-founded Australia's largest organic mushroom farm and was Australian Organic Farmer of the Year in 2018. So strong technical background in mushrooms. And then I bring the startup and business experience. We're also backed by some great investors, Heston Blumenthal, 3 Michelin star British chef, some other famous people you may know.
Michael, your time is up. So thanks very much for that. And I'll pass over to the judges now for any questions.
I definitely have one. You mentioned that your first flagship product is 62% shiitake. Do you rely on any nut or legume-based proteins, as they can be quite water and other resource-intensive ag products?
No nut proteins. We use 62% shiitake mushroom, about 10% soy protein, and then coconut oil, and then short list of all natural flavors like salt, black pepper, white pepper. So yeah, we stick to very sustainable ingredients.
Thank you. Any further questions? We do have time for another one.
Yeah, Michael, what's your biggest ask for the company for now?
Yeah, so actually at the moment I didn't squeeze that in, but so thank you for asking. So we raised a $1.6 million seed round from Blackbird Ventures and Grok Ventures in October last year. We've only burnt a small amount of that on our P&L, but with our pretty rapid growth, we've got some hefty working capital requirements. So we're raising a $1 to $2 million debt round at the moment to fund working capital. So just to put that in perspective, last month we did 150K revenue. This month we'll do 200. Next month with the launch into Coles, we'll do 400K revenue. And January, February, we'll be starting to get up to about 700 or 800K revenue. And we need to fund all the inventory to bring on those new customers. So aiming to do that with debt. We're talking to some debt providers at the moment, but yeah, always keen on intros to others.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
I may have just missed it. Sorry, very last quick question. I might have missed it in your presentation. Where are you actually doing the manufacturing?
We work with a co-manufacturer based in Malaysia. So Australians eat 3.5 kilograms of mushrooms per person per year. In Malaysia, they eat nearly 20 kilograms of mushrooms per person per year. So just a much bigger mushroom industry, value-added manufacturing, and yeah, equipment, knowledge, and experience to work with mushrooms. So we found a good co-manufacturer there that was already doing value-added work with mushrooms, so we could tap into that expertise, equipment, and supply chain.
Is there an intention to potentially try and onshore and bring some of that skills and expertise to Australia?
Yeah, we're actually talking with 2 potential Australian co-manufacturers at the moment.
All right, cool. Thanks, man.
Yeah, now we've got scale. It's easier to do. We talked to some Australian co-manufacturers pre-launch, but yeah, no one was willing to do something completely new and different on without any volume pre-launch.
Thank you. That's great, Michael. Thank you, judges, for your questions. And that actually concludes our pitches for today. We've listened to 14 amazing Aussie entrepreneurs share their solutions with us. And I think you'll all agree that there was a really great and diverse range of pitches there. I'm going to hand over to our host, Phil, who's going to explain to you what will be happening next. So over to you, Phil.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks, Veronica, for keeping everyone on time. Thank you, Ren, and who was in there, Tony and Bron. You're going to be leaving us to go into the judges' deliberation Zoom. You should find that in the last email I sent you earlier. So, and Michael, if you could stop sharing your screen.
Sorry.
I can. No, that's cool, man. Great pitch, by the way. Thank you for joining us. Really exciting. So I'll say bye to Chad and Ren, Tony and Bron. I'll see you in about 10 minutes.
Good luck, judges.
Good luck. And then with the judges gone, we can finally, bye, Bron. We can finally talk amongst ourselves here. And I actually thought it might be good before I share a video with you of the president of the Global Entrepreneurship Network, who explains a little bit more about this entire initiative on a global level. I thought it'd be good to just get a few comments from you guys, just maybe a few words on, why you're here, what the experience has been like, or what this means to you. Just want to know how everyone's feeling. So anyone who just wants to share something that comes spontaneously to mind, just feel free to jump in.
Hey Phil, it's Matt from Connexi. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yep.
Yeah, I guess from our end as a venture, regardless of the outcome, I get the validation that comes with being in a cohort like this is definitely motivation for the team to keep pushing forward, and it sort of puts us in the mindset that we're definitely onto something, that has an achievable market, and we're looking forward to the next stage. So congratulations to everyone else as well.
Cool, man. Yeah. Anyone else? I saw William's hands.
Yeah, I'll say something. I just wanted to say, look, it's a terrific platform to give exposure, because I think that's one of the things that we really need at the moment. We need to get our idea out there, let people know what we're doing and what we can do, because sometimes seeing is believing, and a lot of people don't believe until they see. So that's what we need to line up.
That's right. What I really love about this approach, and where Veronica and I are involved in a lot of these competitions or initiatives, is also the fact that you don't get penalized for the stage that you're at. So it's completely stage agnostic and relevant to each. For those who will be moving on to the next parts of the global aspect of this, there's different prizes and then different tracks for depending on the stage that you're at. So that's kind of an interesting thing. Anyone else?
Yeah, so jumping off what Will just said, clearly in the radiation game, we're all about exposure, right? And clicking exposure. But realistically, what I've always enjoyed with these pitch competitions is these are the times when we see people that have got a mindset like us, that see a problem, that want to create a solution, that want to look after the community, that want to push industry forward and push industry into a sustainable way. And there's no other communities apart from the entrepreneurship style communities where we have such great concentration of similar focused, forward looking, let's push the boundaries mindsets. And I thrive off that. I love hearing all the pitches. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Simon. That's great. All right.
Certainly from my perspective, it's really fantastic, because it actually, every time you do one of these sort of things, it actually focuses down to where your core values and your core value proposition is. And that's always great, because even if you're not successful in these things, it's part of a journey, and that journey over, whether it's over 6 months or 60 years, is really good to have.
Yeah, great. Yeah, Jerome.
Yeah, I was just kind of echoing what Hugh said. As an entrepreneur, you're trying to solve all the world's problems and have a good idea on how to do that. But being able to distill your thoughts into something that's succinct in 3 minutes is a fantastic challenge, and I've enjoyed it. And yeah, it's been quite valuable to be able to actually do that, and to listen to everyone else's, what the other problems that other people are solving, because I just think that they're incredibly interesting. And Australia has always been pretty strong when it comes to innovation, and it's good to actually see and hear some of those, and giving us a platform on a global scale, because yeah, we've never had a problem with innovation. We've just taken it to that next step is something that I think this global competition will give us the opportunity to highlight what we're doing down under. So yeah, thanks a lot.
Where are you based, Jerome?
In a town called Gundawindi. Google it. Population 6,000.
Believe it or not, I've been there.
Yeah, right. What, you drove through here, or?
No. I actually visited. I worked with another company that grows fava beans and makes snacks there. So yeah.
Gundawindi is actually, from a rural point of view, is actually quite an anomaly. We consider it to be the ag tech capital of Australia. So when you actually look on a per capita basis, the agricultural technology that's come from here that's then gone global is quite remarkable. So it's a bit of an oasis here in terms of entrepreneurship, especially on the agricultural side. So yeah, pretty happy to be here and representing Gundy at a national competition.
That's fantastic. Anyone else? Otherwise, I might spin up the video in anticipation for the final results. But jump in if you have if you have anything else to say.
I might just say how inspired I think these types of events or competitions are, in terms of what we've all been experiencing over the years so far. And it's just really heartening to know that our entrepreneurial spirit is still strong, and despite all of the limitations, restrictions, barriers that we've had, that hasn't been quashed. And I think, as Phil alluded to it at the beginning, the number of entries or applications that were received, was way more, or surpassed what anyone thought they would be. So once again, just my congratulations to all of you for being here, being present.
Great. All right, let's move over to this. And if you're ready, we'll be back in 8 minutes. See you soon.
Hi, welcome to the Entrepreneurship World Cup, hosted by the MISC Global Forum, the Global Entrepreneurship Network, and the Global Education and Leadership Foundation. And of course, most importantly, all of you, the national hosts around the world that have made this extraordinary competition possible. As you may be aware, we have 160,000 entrants this year, which is a testament to all the pivoting going on for the pandemic, with our founders, our startups, our small businesses, our entrepreneurs, everybody trying to figure out better ways of doing things in the light of a global crisis. We're very proud to say that 198 countries are participating, and that, of course, we have an extraordinary volume of ideas and talent assembled here at this important moment in history. The EWC is not just a pitch competition. As you all know, we're just as focused on those of you who do not win as we are on our winners. We're particularly proud of the fact that we give everybody access to EWC Accelerate, which is a virtual training and mentorship platform. And we have so many things on that platform available, ranging from honing your skills around using the exclusive content library for learning about customer feedback, or learning about pitching and deck creation, or learning about team building, or just company culture. And we've also got a whole range of perks to sort of turbocharge your startup. So far, we've had $3.1 million worth of perks that people have downloaded and take advantage of, thanks to the kindness of people like Google Cloud, HubSpot, Stripe, and others who've made available some of these resources in kind to all of you. I think each of you get access to up to $25,000 in these perks. Now, of course, all our national winners will advance to the next stage, and they'll actually have the opportunity to participate in Accelerate 2, which is a virtual structured accelerator, which is designed to help each of them make it into the EWC 100, which is essentially the top 100 startups out of the 160,000 that applied, who will join the global finals in October. Of course, this Accelerate 2 is not a requirement, it's not mandatory, but it accepts unless you're an early stage startup. But we encourage all of you, all of the entrants of the Entrepreneurship World Cup who make it through to these finals to take advantage of this. 80% did last time. Top 4 finalists last time are all ones that went through Accelerate 2. And then we hope that it's certainly something that you'll look and say, there's nothing to lose participating in this and increasing my chances of winning in October. But most importantly, I want to be able to say to all of you, I hope that you'll look at this competition as a way to test your grit, to understand that being an entrepreneur is about conducting an experiment, figuring out new ways of doing things. You collect data, and in this virtual circle of innovation, you improve your ideas. So stay with us, whether it's the Miss Global Forum, or TGALF, or of course the Global Entrepreneurship Network. We're really here to help you succeed. The competition is really our momentum, our energy. It's about helping us to prepare and engage and get some discipline around what we're doing, but we're really here to help you all succeed. I'll end with just a very important note, and that is to remind you that you all hold a very special place in the world at this time. Entrepreneurs, perhaps more than any other group of people on the planet, have a degree of comfort with uncertainty, with lack of predictability, with crisis. Because when someone comes in and completely changes the rules across the planet, entrepreneurs are very courageous. You're people that see, yes, opportunity, but you also see, you're not fearful of it. You see the rules change, it means something that wasn't possible before may be possible now. So I hope that you'll consider yourselves all to be leaders in your communities. At GEN, for example, my organization, we're working extremely hard to prepare the world for this. Most importantly, with the Entrepreneurship World Cup in these next few weeks, where we'll try to get everybody innovating, pivoting for the pandemic, come up with 160,000 new ways that we can make things work in the future in this new economy that we'll be entering. But then in November of 2020, we're challenging every nation on the planet to celebrate Global Entrepreneurship Week, which is essentially a way of saying, you already get the power of entrepreneurship. Reach out in your communities to those that don't. Let's try to get more citizens in each of our countries being starters. More citizens thinking there's got to be better ways of doing things, taking the initiative, being part of solutions, coming up with ways to help not just themselves, but their fellow citizens. So I hope that you'll get involved in Global Entrepreneurship Week. It's happening already in 177 countries, and we hope to have more signed up soon. And then, of course, at GEN, we're also leading up to everybody returning for a Global Entrepreneurship Congress, for which you're all invited. You can go to gec.co. And this is where we will have a variety of virtual programming leading up to a finale that will allow us to all together work hard to figure out what is going to be the future of our economies and what is the role of entrepreneurs. I think you've all heard it many, many times before, you're valued in your societies because almost all the net new jobs come from firms less than 5 years old. Big companies in environments like this tend to shed jobs, whereas new firms tend to grow and create jobs. You're extremely important in an area where most of our communities are suffering from high rates of unemployment. So we hope that through the Entrepreneurship World Cup and some of the other things that Jen and our partners are trying to do here, that you'll consider yourself to be part of the solution. That we want to be part of helping to light the candle, not just in your heart, but also light the candle in the hearts and minds of many of your friends and community members. And so together we can solve, together we can work as one global entrepreneurial ecosystem in helping our economies and our communities rebuild after this difficult time. I'll end with one important note. I'm still astounded to this day. This pandemic was tailor-made for a global response. But somehow, at a political level, it never got it. There were thousands of siloed responses in communities in the healthcare response to this. I hope that as entrepreneurs, we can set an example for our political leaders, set example for the rest of the world and say that just like national boundaries are porous to viruses, they're also porous to innovation. And that we can work together as one community in coming up with solutions and answers and ideas, no matter where you come from, that we can be part of the solution in 2021 as we all rebuild and try to rebuild better. So good luck today. Thank you so much for being a part of this. I hope you'll remain part of this powerful movement of entrepreneurs around the world who are solving problems and part of the solution, seeing the glass half full. And I hope to meet many of you in the weeks and months to come as we look to be these problem solvers. Best of luck today, and thank you.
Okay, everybody. Well, that has completed the video part, and I'm not sure if some of you during that time decided to take a bit of a toilet break, as I did, and grab myself a cuppa. But that was great to hear from Jonathan Ortman as well about you know, this event that's being hosted at the moment. So hopefully our judges will be back with us soon. So did anyone have anything that they'd like to comment on regarding that that video presentation we've just seen? Or everyone's just chilling at the moment? Judges will probably be a few minutes yet, so we've got a little bit of time. Just waiting. How are they going? How are they going?
This is really exciting. I've got the judges on in one ear, in my AirPod, and then I've got
Who would want to be a judge for this? Goodness me, I'm glad I've got this job. The excitement's building. Actually, what I'd like to know from someone is what is happening in your particular area, or the region, or the location that you are, where entrepreneurs such as yourself are being supported. I know for myself, I run a program here in the Peel region in WA that is called Startup Huddle, which is one of the Gen programs. And I know for myself, I observed that there was a gap in the region for a program that specifically addressed startups. I'm just wondering if you could share something that's happening near you that has helped you in your entrepreneur journey. Anyone have anything they want to share?
Listen, sorry, I just didn't want to make sure that we weren't all talking over each other.
Yeah, that's fine, Jerome. Go ahead.
So, I mean, we're pretty lucky that that farmers out here are quite nice and will give you the time of day. So when you're actually talking to them about some of your ideas, being able to give you the feedback to make your product better, what are the things that actually work, that don't work, so you can quickly start to change and make those adjustments. That's something that we've had a pretty big support network out here in Gundawindi. So that's something that's helped me along my way, because it hasn't all been smooth sailing, but we get there and we start to build and we start to build the business, I suppose.
Yeah, one of the things that I've heard over and over again, and even experienced myself, I've had startups myself, is the feeling of isolation when you're working on your own project and you don't have a lot of people around you who seem to kind of understand that entrepreneurial mind. So, being able to connect with other like-minded people can be difficult. So, I'm always interested to hear if there are other programs or networks that are happening around the place that are, that are bringing those like-minded entrepreneurial types together.
Veronica, are you happy if I add to that?
Absolutely. Definitely.
So one of the things that's really, given me a sense of warmth and the perseverance and all the rest of it is industry. So in sectors, and business owners and things like that really don't have a vested interest in helping out and answering questions and helping us along their journey, are actually willing to do it and give up their time. And times are tough. Here in Victoria, it's really hard, and people are just happy to help. And that's just so wonderful. And I think they appreciate that everyone here and in this forum and others are just having a go. So I've just found that in this sort of world we're in at the moment, just fantastic.
Yeah, that's a great point. Has anybody else found that, with COVID and the challenges that it's brought, it's kind of given a space for that entrepreneurial type of approach to really come into the fore? Has anybody else found that in their area?
Hey, this is Matt from Connexi.
Hey, Matt.
Hey, we definitely found it sort of in our period going through the R&D stages and trying to get pilots in with our enterprise customers. I think while business was going good, no one in Australian business really was willing to put their neck out for innovation and for optimization. And then on the back of obviously COVID, where all of a sudden their jobs are in question, all of a sudden everyone's willing to try something new. And as horrible as it is, it's probably a really good opportunity for Australian business to trim a lot of that, that fat that they've got in their operations, because now they're actually looking around the corner and go, well, where could this resource be better allocated, as opposed to just assuming there'll always be more of it coming through the next budget.
Yeah, fantastic. Great point.
Very good.
Phil, how are our judges going?
They have made their decisions, so
how exciting!
They should be jumping back in here in a minute. I guess I'll see them in the waiting room. This was a really good conversation happening, guys, as well. So, really interesting, because I would imagine a lot of you have applied for the Entrepreneurship World Cup even potentially prior to COVID, or is that, or was it? Well, how was the timeline? I can't remember. So the businesses might have changed quite a lot. For those continuing, that's good to get some beers going there, Coligo.
It's only 4 o'clock here in Perth, so it's still coffee time, not wine time yet.
6 p.m. here in Melbourne, so
yeah, you guys go for it. I think you all deserve it in Melbourne too.
I think Melbourne's okay. You can do anything.
And we're paying for it, so take it on the chin.
Absolutely. In Melbourne, you should actually be drinking something stronger, like a 30-35%, because that'll kill the germs. In fact, you should probably walk around permanently with a bottle.
I actually want to try one of those non-meat hamburgers, so please look me up.
Oh, I agree. They look delicious. I love mushrooms, but yeah. They look great.
Can you share that Zoom background with us, Michael?
And I'll have a go at switching to another one for you.
How delicious does that look?
Hey guys, sorry we're running a little bit late. We'll be a total of about 10 minutes. Oh wow! All right.
Oh no, here they come.
Yeah, they're coming in. There we go. Should we let them in? Yes, of course. Ren. All right. Thanks for your patience, everyone. Cool. Ren, welcome back. Tony, welcome back. Chad, welcome back. Bronwyn, welcome back. There we go. Everyone's here to join the party. Chad,
join the party. Excellent. Thanks, Phil. So that was tricky, as you can tell by how long it took. And it is like that with these ones. Man, it was just like the debates and discussion and working through. And that really just tells the caliber. Like there was really equal across, like all of your pitches were really, really good. So well done to everybody. It's been a fantastic evening, really showcasing a lot of the ideas, the talent that we have. Really impressed. What I might do now is we'll just turn over to the three judges, and we're going to share a little bit about kind of the thought process that went into it first, and then we're going to ask the two winners. Now, with the winners, when we select, we'll send you separate emails on specifically the next process. I'll read out to you, let me just find it up. I'll read out what it means, but essentially you're going to be going to the global stage. There is an acceleration program of sorts that you can go through and get additional mentoring and support for the two people that go through. Australia has been allocated 2 slots for the top national winners moving forward to Accelerate 2. And then it says all global finals receive a $100,000 in-kind package, and the top winner will receive an additional $700,000 in-kind prize, $800K in total, plus the option to participate at the global finals representing Australia. And then a runner-up will compete for a spot among the EWC 100 to pitch at the global finals. So we'll get clarity on what all those terms mean for the two that will be selected that the judges of this process have chosen. So we'll work with you through that process. So with that in mind, I'll hand over to the first judge just to give a bit of an overview on that process.
Yes, so I'll speak to that. So we were asked just to remind everyone, and if anyone's jumping in on the live stream, we were asked to judge the teams on people, product, potential, and predictability. So obviously from the 3-minute pitch, it's really difficult to get everything into a 3-minute pitch, but overall, we were super impressed with how well most of the teams hit on most of those things relatively clearly. Some better than others, but everyone seemed to address everything with confidence if asked in follow-up questions. It was quite difficult, actually. We were really impressed with not just the caliber of the teams and the thought going into these solutions, but the kind of problems that are being solved. It's really impressive to see Australian startups really trying to take on quite, sizable, not just from a monetary standpoint, but from an impact and, how much it's going to affect our living world, not just our financial world. Really shows the caliber of Australian startups and the evolution that we've experienced in Australia over the last decade or so. It really came down to a couple of few, and we did our best to decide on which ones would win based on their raw scores, as well as what we thought that the winning or getting the opportunity to move on to the next stage would really mean for the benefit of that particular team. So to anyone who didn't win, it's not that you necessarily weren't as strong, but that you just didn't fit the criteria at this stage in time for this particular pitch competition. So it's not to say it shouldn't keep going, and also, make the most of this opportunity, connect with us after this and see what else we can do with and for you, because we're super impressed.
Excellent. Thanks, Ren. And Yeah, just to reiterate that the comments from the judges, the deliberation, the debates, the ideas that they could say, oh, we could take it here and move on. So really some good thought processes of these people thinking about your business. And the other thing that you need to take away from this is that out of hundreds of applications, you're in the top 15. And so while a couple will be moving on, there's going to be a lot more programs, a lot more competitions, and an entire community across Australia that's now aware of you and really wants to help you out. So keep that in mind as you hear the next two names. Definitely you're all, not to put it too lightly, but you're definitely all winners in our books. So next up, we might hand over to Bron, who's going to say, let us know about the, it's kind of number two, but we'll need to determine whether you both go in equally for the pitching or whether there is a runner-up concept within Gen overall. But for the runner-up spot, the number two, the second number one, Bron will share a little bit about that.
Thank you. So for us, in the end, after much debate, we decided that for number two spot would be in-farm. For me, so I guess my feedback was I was pretty excited about your pitch. Yes, so congratulations. Being a geeky girl, I was really interested to see all your cool tech with drones and artificial intelligence. And I think the amount of data and the interesting data that you are going to collect and be able to process and build on is going to be a massive asset. And it's solving a real world problem, which is really awesome as well. And I'm really excited that these are the sorts of things you're concentrating on. I guess the piece of feedback I'd like to pass along is making sure that you have the right people to help you navigate through some of the like growing and like getting bought out, or like how to expand your business in the right way. But yeah, congratulations. I'm super excited that about what you're building.
Well, thank you so much, Bronwyn. I really appreciate it. And I also really appreciate the feedback. It's something that me and the team have been talking about a fair bit in terms of how to actually get that scalability and surrounding ourselves with the right people. And we agree with you. And thanks for this opportunity, guys. I really appreciate it. And the team's pretty bloody ecstatic. So thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Jerome. Yeah, so well done. Fantastic. Definitely, while we gave the feedback to Jerome, for anybody else, if you want to hit us up for feedback on the pitches and whatnot, feel free to send us through an email and we'll just get you back some general thoughts on the process. But now, without further ado, for the number one that came through, Tony, go for it.
Okay, thanks, Chad. Yeah, just to basically reiterate a couple of points that Brian and Ran about you already talked about. Yeah, it was awesome. The caliber, the variety, was really impressed. And I think the thing that struck us this time is because it's an entrepreneurship program or a World Cup as opposed to just a startup World Cup, it wasn't all technology based. So it wasn't all just what's your latest IT company, et cetera, et cetera. So I think actually having the broader function or notion of entrepreneurship was actually really telling in terms of the ones that came together. With that in mind, what we actually looked at was the criteria that Ren mentioned earlier. And when we talk about entrepreneurship, we talk about successful businesses. Entrepreneurship is about how to actually take a product to market to build a total successful business, and that requires the total package. So it's basically who scores consistently across all of the criteria that was outlined earlier. And whilst there was different views from the judges about a whole different group of people and different companies and different stages, there was absolute agreement about this one that we just could not argue with, that scored highly on every criteria, and that is Fable Food. So congratulations to Fable Food as the clear standout as having the total package. So really cool product that's actually going to deal with food security, environment, people and planet, all that sort of gear, which is super cool. An amazing team. And so it's like when you talk about predictability and success factors, yeah, congratulations, guys. You're on your way, and I think you're going to represent Australia well.
Hey, thanks so much. Really appreciate it. And thanks so much for organising this. And that's a real thrill. Thanks to all the other entrants too. There's some awesome businesses in here, and yeah, it's so amazing to see the the entrepreneurial talent. And no, yeah, really thrilled. So yeah, thank you so much.
You bet, and thank you. And again, thanks to everybody who took the time, worked on their presentations, showed up on really tight notice for Wednesday afternoon to give it a go. It's been an honor to be able to work with you guys. And thanks heaps to the judges volunteering their time to come along and give you guys the feedback. Huge shout out to Veronica for helping us with the facilitation, and Phil, man, we couldn't have done this without you helping pull everything together. Absolute kudos and credit to everybody. So thank you very much. And please ping us and we'll give you the feedback. We'll want to kind of keep these relationships and these connections, and whatever we can do to help you out moving forward. I'm more than happy to support. You've got our email addresses. We'll keep the communication open. Thank you very much. Phil, anything else to wrap up?
That's it. Thanks, Chad. We'll be following up by email afterwards. But yeah, thank you again, Ren, as well, Bron and Tony, for being here, and everyone who's been part of this in the last week behind the scenes as well. So, and congratulations to everyone who pitched today. I know I spoke only to a few of you over the last days, but yeah, I'm really honored for all of us to be in this space together. Thanks so much. Have a good evening, everyone, and see you very soon.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks so much, everyone. Cheers.